Okay, so I have to talk about this. I didn't even think about this until someone commented on the most recent Walking Dead video that I made about this nuclear zombie, or the zombie that's going to be introduced in Fear the Walking Dead that's going to completely shake the fabric of the Walking Dead universe over on AMC. And the more I think about it, the more I really hate the idea, even though it's starting to make a whole lot of sense, at least in my mind. So, you know what? This is going to be a rant video, so buckle up. Tell me what you think about it in the comment section below, and I hope you enjoy the video, but let's just get right into it. Hey YouTubers, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. Okay, so if you didn't see my last video talking about the nuclear zombie from Fear the Walking Dead, let me just go over it really quickly here. They're going to be introducing a nuclear zombie in The Walking Dead. They're also going to be introducing a zombie, or at least they said they're going to be introducing a zombie or a walker, or whatever you want to call them, in the Fear the Walking Dead Season 5 that's going to completely shake the fabric of the universe and connect things or make the threat of zombies much bigger than anything that we've seen thus far. And just thinking about that, thinking about what that means for the future of the series, and then also going back and hearing what Scott Gimple just cannot help himself but to just leak things here and there, talk about these projects that he's supervising and the future of the Walking Dead universe. He recently was talking about, I've done a video about this, and I'm not going to go back and look at his comments or just trying to prove the point, like I said, rant video, but he essentially said that Fear the Walking Dead is going to connect to the original television show, AMC's main flagship series, The Walking Dead. Essentially, paraphrasing as best I can, that this storyline started in The Walking Dead and now is going to cross over into Fear the Walking Dead and is going to be explored there at a much bigger degree. Now, at first, I feel like a lot of people, including myself, thought that that was going to be the helicopter people. I mean, we had reports coming out pretty early on that if you like Rick Grimes, if you like The Walking Dead, and you want to know more about what's going to happen in the Walking Dead universe as we get the movies, the new spinoff, and all this other stuff, then you have to tune in for Season 5 of Fear the Walking Dead because it's going to address that stuff. And I'm not saying introducing a nuclear zombie isn't going to address that stuff in one way, shape, or form. I just feel like now, with all of the news that's piling up for what we're going to see in Fear the Walking Dead, it's going to be the nuclear waste zombies, what befell this creature when Ezekiel was leading his army to fight the Saviors in Season 8. If y'all remember that scene, these zombies were the ones that took down Shiva. There was nuclear waste just all over the place, and obviously it was affecting these walkers. Now, I don't know how that story or that narrative is going to affect Fear the Walking Dead, or what it's going to do to the walkers, what it's going to mean for the people around them. Maybe these walkers give people radiation poisoning. Like, that would be a thing, but radiation isn't an immediate threat. Yes, it's something that you can run away from, or, quite literally can't really run away from, especially in a world of zombie apocalypse. So that's something I really don't like or understand for the most part. But essentially, you have Morgan and his entire crew running into a nuclear power plant or something that melted down. And while it doesn't really connect, or the stories aren't the same, you get to see how the nuclear fallout of the apocalypse is affecting the zombies and also the survivors, and how these zombies who can still walk around and aren't affected by the cancerous mutation that's caused by the radiation poisoning. The idea that you can be around zombies, not get bit, but still get sick and eventually die and turn into a zombie is a greater threat. But to me, it's just promising too much for something that doesn't pay off. Especially when we're watching The Walking Dead, or at least the main show of The Walking Dead, play out as it has over the last season, hasn't addressed this issue. None of the characters, especially the main characters, have fallen ill to any radiation poisoning other than possibly Gabriel, but I mean, that would be a stretch because I felt like Gabriel's sickness and the fact that he lost an eye in Season 8 wasn't because of radiation or anything else like that, but because they were trying to put some relevance as to why you can't just cover yourself in zombie guts and everything because you might get sick. The weird thing here, I have to say, the weird thing here about The Walking Dead is that they are trying their best to fill in all these plot holes and to make various things make sense. But the problem is like this show has been running for a very long time. You can't just automatically say, oh yeah, by the way, radiation poisoning, yeah, that's been a thing and people are being affected by it, but not our main characters. Even though they've come into contact with it, they're just fine. But, other people are affected by this and other areas are affected by this. But for some reason, our main characters are in a situation, in a place where they're not being affected by these walkers. So we really just don't have to worry about it. Oh, and by the way, those various things that we've seen our characters go throughout the entire show and the spinoff, covering themselves in zombie guts and blood and just walking around with the zombies and everything else like that. Yeah, that stuff can make you sick unless, for whatever reason, you skin the walkers and wear their skin, because that is completely healthy for most people. I mean, I'm not really sure what they're trying to do here or how they're trying to build up the logic of this universe. And it kind of disappoints me that everything about this big revelation that we're going to get in Fear the Walking Dead is pointing to the nuclear zombies that were introduced in season 8 of The Walking Dead and are just going to be reintroduced. At least the concept is going to be reintroduced into Fear the Walking Dead as the main antagonizing force, or one of the things to worry about within that show. And as I already talked about in my other video, it would be interesting if the threat of nuclear zombies is going to be the thing that finally drives Morgan and everyone in Fear the Walking Dead towards the Walking Dead main series, where we finally get both those shows, whether it's in season 5 of Fear the Walking Dead or season 6 is the entire journey between Fear the Walking Dead to The Walking Dead, and telling a story that would span several years or however long it's going to take them to get there. For Morgan and anyone else who survives this series to merge with The Walking Dead, that would be cool. If this is one of the reasons and the way that they're going to make that happen, that's totally fine. The only problem with that is they spent the last season using Morgan as a way to suggest or hint at the fact that these characters are finally going to go merged with the Walking Dead show and give us the crossover that we've desperately wanted to see since the beginning, and yet they did not do that. And not even the crossover that we wanted to see. We wanted to see Madison and Rick finally interact with each other. We wanted to see Nick interact with Daryl or whoever it might have been, go on hunts with Daryl or anything else like that. We can't get that anymore because Fear the Walking Dead in season 4 really shook things up in a really unnecessary way. But they were at least pointing at the fact that Morgan can get them back, and that was what he was going to do until he just abruptly changed his mind when everyone else had bought into the idea of going back to Alexandria. And the silly thing of, and I just think it's kind of silly if this is what they're planning to do, is introduce nuclear zombies in order to cause enough of a threat that they have to go from one place all the way to Alexandria. And that's what's going to encompass season 5 and maybe even season 6 as the last season of Fear the Walking Dead, while they build up this third spin-off series and the Rick Grimes movies. Now, it's possible, as I said in my other video, that these nuclear zombies do hint at the cure, or at least some way to fight the zombie outbreak. I mean, it's kind of interesting thinking about maybe someone who was dying of radiation poisoning died and then didn't really turn the way they should. They have some idea of who they are, and they retain a lot more than what they should because the radiation poisoning is stopping the virus somehow. And this is something that ties into the Rick Grimes movies, where they're using radiation poisoning, or at least treatment for cancer with radiation treatment, to kill the zombie virus in people, or at least take that away and bring back something akin to a real human being with these people. I mean, that would be kind of cool. I would come back and I would make a completely new video saying that, you know what, that was cool. I'm glad that they did that. They really did expand the universe. But for right now, if that's going to be the story, just bringing in the nuclear zombies that we saw from season 8 of The Walking Dead into Fear the Walking Dead, despite the fact that it has no bearing on the main story and potentially no real mainstay bearing in Fear the Walking Dead or this new series spinoff or even the Rick Grimes movies or anything else like that. I'm just going to have to go ahead and say it, and I feel like they know this as well. They are giving us snake oil. They're trying their best to hype things up when they know they don't have a good season on their hands. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of people really like Fear the Walking Dead right now, but I don't like what the shakeups were in season 4, and I'm not excited, very much excited to see season 5. And you know what? I'm going to watch it. I'm going to do my best to be excited for every single week and to pay attention to what's going on and how it connects to the broader universe, but they really need to show their worth in this season. They need to prove that all the decisions they made last season made sense. And based on everything that Scott Gimple and everybody else has told us about this upcoming season, to me, it just feels like this is going to be too little too late. It's not going to do enough to connect to the broader universe, and it's not going to feel that impactful. Walkers can't be made more scary or more threatening just because they're giving off radiation, because that's not something that will affect anybody like Morgan or any of our main characters to a great extent, unless they use it to kill off someone big like Strand or maybe even Daniel. That would be pretty epic, but let's not do that. We've already lost so many characters in Fear the Walking Dead, and seeing them die in such a lame way, at least I'm speculating it would be a lame way, would really, really piss me off, and I'm sure it would piss so many other people off, because you can't lose Alicia, you can't lose Morgan, but you can lose a mainstay character like Strand or Daniel, and I don't want to see either of them die. They're two of my favorite characters in this entire universe. So, you know what, guys? I'm going to leave it at that. Like I said, just a long rant video. I am not looking forward to this. The more and more I think about it, it makes sense. This is what they're trying to build up, and whether it connects to everything or not, I just don't feel like it's going to work, and I'm not overly excited for it now that I've put all these pieces together in this way. I hope it's different. I hope I'm wrong here, but tell me in the comment section below whether you think that I am just well off track here, or do you think I have something and this is how it's going to connect and what the story is going to be, at least for the first half of season 5 of Fear the Walking Dead. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. And also, guys, go down to the description section below. You hit that link and go follow me on Twitter, where we can talk about The Walking Dead, anything else I cover on this channel or my other channel, and just have a general conversation. It's so much easier to talk to me on Twitter than it is on YouTube, even though I do my best to look at and comment on every comment that I see that's worth commenting on and having fun conversations with you guys in the comment section below. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. It's been real.